Lila and Max spent their summer adventuring along the rocky coastline near their home, searching for seashells and hidden tide pools. With their parents working long hours at a local seafood restaurant, their older sister Tara was supposed to keep an eye on them. However, she often preferred hanging out with her friends, leaving Lila and Max to explore on their own. One particularly scorching afternoon, while hunting for the perfect shell, Max spotted something odd in the distance, an old, decrepit boathouse that seemed to cast a shadow over the beach. Intrigued yet apprehensive, Lila felt a tug of curiosity. The boathouse had long been abandoned, whispered about among locals as a place holding forgotten secrets. Ignoring her instincts to turn back, the siblings trudged forward, the sand crunching under their feet. As they neared the structure, they saw a figure inside, a tall boy with messy hair and a disheveled look. It was Ethan, a newcomer to the area, known for his mysterious past. "What are you kids doing here?" he asked, a sly grin creeping across his face. "You looking for trouble?" A chill ran down Lila's spine. Every instinct screamed for her to leave. Yet Max, ever the adventurous spirit, stepped forward. "We're just exploring," he declared, his eyes alight with excitement. Ethan's expression changed, a glint of something unsettling flickering in his gaze. He motioned for them to come in, claiming he had something really cool to show them. Inside, the air was thick with dust and the musty scent of mildew. Old fishing gear cluttered the walls, tangled nets and rusty hooks creating an eerie atmosphere. Lila's unease grew as she spotted a peculiar camera mounted on a tripod, aimed directly at the entrance. "What's that for?" she asked, suspicion creeping into her tone. "Just capturing the beauty of the coast," he replied nonchalantly, but his tone felt rehearsed. Lila sensed he wasn't being honest. When Max wandered closer, Ethan pulled out an old scrapbook from beneath a pile of forgotten boxes. The pages contained unsettling photos of local kids at play, each image tainted by ominous shadows lurking just out of sight. Suddenly the door creaked open, and Tara's voice called for them. Startled, Ethan quickly shoved the scrapbook away, his demeanor shifting to one of irritation. The siblings exchanged anxious glances. "We should go," Lila urged, her voice shaking. But Ethan stepped in their way, blocking the exit. "Not just yet. You need to see this," he insisted, a chilling smile spreading across his lips. Tension thickened in the cramped space. The camera whirred ominously, its lens fixed on them. Lila's heart raced. What was he really capturing? Just as panic began to take hold, Tara entered, her face a mix of confusion and skepticism. Ethan plastered on a mask of innocence. "Just sharing some local history," he exclaimed, but Tara's discerning gaze pierced through his facade. Seizing the opportunity, Lila and Max exchanged silent signals. While Tara engaged Ethan, they slipped through a side door that led to an overgrown trail. Adrenaline surged as they fled, the thrill of escape driving them forward. But as they dashed deeper into the woods, dread washed over Lila. They weren't alone. They could hear footsteps behind them, heavy and deliberate. "Max, I think he's after us," Lila gasped, her breath hitching. They sprinted toward the beach, where the waves crashed violently against the rocks, echoing their fear. As they reached a secluded cove, they glanced back to see Ethan emerging from the trees, camera in hand, snapping photos as he stalked them. "You can't escape," he called, his voice echoing eerily in the salty air. Lila's mind raced. They had to come up with a plan, and fast. In a moment of desperation, she recalled the flares their dad kept in the boat for emergencies. "Max, help me," she shouted, leading him toward the old fishing boat bobbing in the surf. They scrambled aboard, adrenaline fueling their movements. and grabbed the flares, their hands trembling with fear. They lit the flares, the bright red light cutting through the twilight like a beacon. The sudden flash caught Ethan off guard, temporarily blinding him. He shouted, stumbling backward, his camera slipping from his grasp and crashing to the ground. Lila and Max seized the moment, bolting toward the shoreline, their hearts racing with hope. Tara had finally caught up, her eyes wide with concern. "What happened?" she asked, breathless. "Something's seriously wrong with Ethan. We need to alert the authorities," Lila insisted, her voice steady despite the chaos. The trio sprinted toward the nearby lifeguard station, their legs pumping with urgency. They burst through the door, breathless and panicked, alerting the guards about Ethan. A small group of locals joined them, and together, they rushed back to the boathouse to confront him. When they arrived, Ethan was nowhere to be found. But as they searched the dusty interior, they discovered the abandoned camera and the disturbing scrapbook, filled with snapshots of carefree children, each image marred by dark shadows that seemed to linger. The lifeguards exchanged grave looks, and one of them, a seasoned officer, murmured, "This isn't just harmless fun." The town's sheriff was called, and as the chilling truth unraveled, they learned that Ethan had been stalking local kids for weeks, documenting their every move. Panic spread through the community as parents rushed to gather their children, reinforcing the urgent need for safety. In the aftermath, Lila, Max, and Tara grew closer, vowing to protect one another. They initiated a community awareness campaign, urging parents to educate their children about safety and the importance of staying in groups. The summer days that followed felt heavier, shadows lurking in every corner, but they stood united against their fear. As the sun began to set earlier, Lila reflected on that day. The coastal sunsets had never seemed so beautiful yet so haunting. Each glow reminded them of the danger that had been so close. The tale of Ethan became a cautionary story shared around bonfires, a whispered warning in the cool evening breeze. They learned the importance of vigilance and the strength of family. While the shadows of the past lingered, they knew they could face whatever came next together. Ethan. "If you're out there," Lila would say to the empty beach, "let's not meet again. The coast is ours now." But as she spoke, the air felt heavy with the remnants of fear, and somewhere in the distance, they could almost hear the whir of a camera, capturing their every move. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more chilling tales, be sure to subscribe for updates. Your support keeps the stories coming.